Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session in Quantum Queen Rising Facebook group, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are joining us from. We're so grateful to have you tuning in today, especially for today's special guest, Glory Ali. We're so honored to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. So Glory is a mindset and business coach for service-based female entrepreneurs. She helps women increase their profits, transform their struggles, really running their own business, right? Like day to day, helping you get to the next thing. What is your next goal? Helping you get there and really removing all of the fears and the doubts that come up from growing and taking massive actions in your own life, right? Like really being that leader, that queen of your own life. So, whether you're thinking about creating a business or you're in that journey of entrepreneurship, you definitely don't want to miss this session. So we're going to go deep with her. We're really happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. And thank you for that introduction. I'm so excited to be here in the Quantum Queens Rising Facebook group. I've been looking around and you guys, I have to say, you guys are doing amazing work. And I see that so many of your members are pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. I'm like, wow, yes, I love this. So thank you for inviting me into the group. I'm super excited and I can't wait to dive in.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're definitely all about, using universal laws, understanding quantum physics, getting through and transforming any negative information into positive information, manifesting, all of that good stuff. So you're definitely going to find lots of female entrepreneurs inside this group. They're very powerful females, powerful women. So can you share a little bit about your journey, about how you got to where you are at, in your life and on your journey?
Absolutely. So I came from corporate America. I was working 19 plus, I think 20 something years now as an accountant in corporate America. And, the funny thing is I've always wanted to, I've always been teaching. Always, ever since I can remember. I'm the oldest of four, right? So I'm always helping my brothers and sisters. I worked actually for like about 10 years. I worked at educational testing service where they did all the PSATs and the SATs and the AP exams and all that stuff. So I would train like 60 people at a time. And it wasn't until I started my entrepreneurial journey and I kind of sat back and I started just looking at my life like, oh my God, you've always been teaching, Glory.
Yeah.
I teach Islamic school on Saturdays to kids. I'm like, I've always been teaching and I absolutely love teaching. And, you and I were talking and I am one of those people that I love to share what I know.
Yeah.
Right. I don't like when people hoard information and don't tell you things. And you're like, well, how did you do this? How do I grow my email list? I'm like, oh, buy my course and this and that. And I hate that.
I know.
I just share everything. And I want everybody to be the same way. But unfortunately, it's not.
No.
So what I did was I combined my all my corporate years of business of running, multi-million-dollar company as an accounting and finances and database. And I'm a geek when it comes to database and keeping track of numbers and everything. And I combined that with business strategies for women entrepreneurs, right? And I'm all about mindset. I'm very big on mindset because, as an entrepreneur, and actually anything that we do in life, mindset always comes first. And for me, it's a fun place to be on, and it's a fun training. I love training on mindset. And the reason why is because I worked on my mindset, especially my money mindset, for years. And the idea behind our thoughts and how powerful our thoughts are, and many of us have lots of drama around sales. And that's why today we're talking about sales mindset. And I'll give you, a little background on me. I worked on my money mindset for years. And what I realized was, I was a single mom raising 3 daughters. And I constantly told them, oh my God, I did such a disservice to my children. I constantly told my daughters, don't ask me for money. I don't have any money. We're just going to go into the store and get what we need. And I did this just so that I didn't want them to be one of those kids that walked into the store and said, I want this and I want
Yeah.
that. I need this. And I thought if I told them, hey, I don't have any money, don't ask me for any money, that we're cool. They're not going to be one of those kids. They didn't. They never did. But one day my mother calls me up on the phone and she's like, oh my gosh, she was so angry. I said, what happened? I'm so embarrassed. I said, Mom, what happened? She's like, I'm standing at the checkout line and all of a sudden your daughter says, Grandma, I'm not going to ask you for this because I know that you're poor.
Oh, wow.
My mother was so embarrassed and I started laughing and I said, Mom, I'm sorry. I just tell them, don't ask for any money. Don't ask for anything because I don't have any money, just so that they don't ask for things. But when I was working on my money mindset, I said, oh, it was like this, like somebody punched me in the stomach. And it's like, what the hell were you doing, Glory? Like you're raising your children to not have a good relationship with money. And so I'm on a mission to help women and also students, because I want this for students that are in high school or in college, to develop a really great relationship with money, right? And it's not a lack of, because there's abundance everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And so we have lots of thoughts and feelings and opinions. We were talking about sales, you and I, the other day, and I was like, oh, this is a great topic because we all have this opinions about what sales is, right? So, and they come up as, I don't want to be salesy. I don't want to be spammy. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be annoying. I don't want to bother a person.
Yeah.
Right? But then sometimes it also shows up as, I don't feel comfortable charging for something that comes so easy to me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to say or how to say the right things to someone. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing it, but it shows up in maybe in an imposter syndrome. Right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
We're all dealing with that in some capacity, right? And I think that we're all dealing with it at some capacity. And so, if any of those are your feelings and how you feel, I want to know that. And if you guys can put that in the comments below or, type it up in the YouTube or wherever you're listening to, we want to know that, right?
Yeah.
Because have you guys ever said, hey, I felt like that? We want to know this because let's talk about mindset and what I mean by that. First of all is I want to really peel back the onion on what sales is, right? And Serena, if you Google it up, the most basic form of sales is an exchange of a product or service for money, right? Yeah. I'm going to say that again. Sales is an exchange for an exchange of product or service for money, right? So anything else, any other feelings that you have about sales, my friend, it's just in our hands.
It's so true.
In our hands, right?
It's so true. Yeah.
And the fun part of this is that once we understand our thoughts, we can change them and then we can choose new thoughts to serve us, right? So for me, what is selling? For me, I like to say that selling is helping and selling is serving.
Yeah.
How that feels so much better.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, I went through a major shift too. Like, my first job ever was sales, and I didn't even know I was selling. Like, that's how I didn't have those.
Marketer. Like, I remember being 16. As soon as I got my, permission to work, I was telemarketing. Like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know what that was.
Right, like we're just talking. Yeah, we're just talking. We're just being ourselves. And then somebody said, oh, good job. You made $80. I'm like, excuse me, what? I was just talking. And that was literally the first real job I really had, So it is absolutely mindset. And that's I love this topic because I've been in sales my whole life pretty much, even in corporate, just like you. And so it is such a misconception and misunderstanding of that we're simply serving people. We're being of service. We're trying to just serve and uplift and share and teach, educate, whatever it is, exactly like you said.
Exactly.
I
And
love
as
that.
business owners and as salespeople, it's helping people make decisions, helping them to decide, is this the right solution for you? Is this not the right
Mm-hmm.
solution for you? Is this the right time? It's not the right time. We're not being pushy. We're just helping them
Mm-hmm.
make a decision. So for me, I reframe it as selling is helping, selling is serving. So by selling my services to you or to whomever I'm selling them to, I am helping them achieve something. And if I choose to not sell to them, they could potentially not achieve the solution to the problem, right? But as a
Mm-hmm.
business owner, as the CEO of our businesses, we get to choose who we work with, right?
Yes.
We're
Mm-hmm.
the ones that choose. So we can decide whether, after having a call with them, whether, you know, are we the right solution for this person? Can I work with this person? Can I take this person on as a client? Right. So
Mm-hmm.
when you put it that way, then you're like, oh my gosh, I got to tell people this, because I've got to help them. I've got to help people. So selling is helping. What selling is not, selling
Yeah.
is not anything that you wouldn't want it to be. So if you don't want to be cold call, don't cold call, right?
Yeah.
If you don't want it to be annoying, then don't be annoying. And if you don't want it to be pushy, don't be pushy, right?
I love it. It's so true. It's so true. I'm just like thinking
And I
about all.
talk a lot about this in our sales program and their Sister of Successful Entrepreneurs Facebook group. And the other day I was telling them this, we're talking about sales again. Selling is not about turning no's into yeses, right? That's not what's happening here. Selling is about helping people make decisions. It's about walking alongside of them, right? You're holding them hand by hand. You're walking alongside of a potential client, determining the problem and that they have and see if you're the best fit to solve that, right? So you
Yeah.
present yourself as the solution. If you are, you ask for the money, right? Because that's like the rest of it. That's the whole drama that we have in our brain. And that drama is keeping you from making money because our thoughts create our reality. And I know that you talk about this a lot too, right? Our thoughts create our reality. So if you wake up as a business owner whose job is to sell your services every single day with the thought in your head that sales is yucky, sales is gross, sales is bad, I don't want to do this, I don't want to annoy people, this is hard, then the reality is that you have is that sales is hard and you're not going to be able to sell anything.
Yeah.
And if you don't sell, you don't have a business.
And you could be literally sitting on the golden solution for these people. This is literally what they need, like that's how I wake up every day. It's like, I know humanity needs what I have. And so that's why I keep showing up and I keep, giving what I can give. And so, and offering the service, but it's like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's whatever our soul is here to serve, however your soul is here to serve in your unique business and your unique way is going to really, you could be sitting on the answer for your prospects. And it's like, but they can't get access to it if you don't talk to them.
And you also have
Yeah.
to believe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to believe that you have the answer to their problems, that you solve this problem. You have to believe in your service, in your product,
Yes.
right? Because if you truly believe in the service that you provide to your potential clients, if you truly believe in your ability to come in and implement what you say you can implement, then you're doing your audience, this is a great service, right? Because you know that you can implement these strategies with them. But by you not asking for the sale, you're doing them a disservice by not
Yeah.
giving them the opportunity to hire you to solve the problem, because potentially they're going to hire somebody else to solve the problem anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're always looking for solutions, and that's just how humans are, or that we're stuck in the problem, like this conversation, right? So if they're looking for solutions and these people are actively looking, then why wouldn't you ask for the sale? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I said, it's our mindset, it's our fears. Um, that hold us back. And I just did a couple minutes ago or an hour ago, I did a live on, what's holding you back. And it's usually we're the ones holding ourselves back from what we want to achieve in this life, right? And so that's why, I reframe this whole sales, as sales is icky, sales is bad, into, sales is great, sales is awesome, right? I absolutely love it, right? And so if you shift that when that mindset shifts for you, it's going to be mind-blowing for you, right? So, people are running around, in this world existing with the problem that you solve. And if you choose not to sell to them because of whatever dramas, is in your head, then you are doing the world, a disservice by not mentioning that you're, even like you're still being broke, right? Somebody else is providing the results that the person needs, so you're still broke. And that's what what we want. We want to make an impact in this world. What we're here to make, right? We're here to make money. We're here to make, business makes money. If you're not making money, you don't have a business. So if our thoughts create our reality, and we are consistently showing up and telling ourselves that that we're bad at something and we don't like this, then it becomes like this self-fulfilling prophecy, right? We stay stuck at bad at sales, we stay struggling, we stay broke, we stay where we're at now. And when you tell yourself that you're bad at whatever it is that you do like, then you don't like, it's going to continue to be that way, because our thoughts create our reality. And I don't want to, kind of peel back the onion on the why many of us feel that way, the way that we feel about sales. So what I like to do is to peel back the onion right before we can make a change in our thoughts. So we have to understand the thoughts that we have. So we need to understand, why do we feel the way that we do about sales? And I'm not going into, the whole mindset rabbit hole here of that, because I can talk about that for days. But what I really love talking about, most of all, is a thought is our belief, right? Is a thought that we have over and over and over again. So if your belief is that sales is bad, or sales is yucky, or sales is spammy, or gross, or annoying, or pushy, whatever the word is that you use, it's probably like that because it feels very true to you, because you have thoughts, maybe someone, sold to you in that way.
Yeah. I was going to say they might have had that experience before. Also, the word is so triggering, right? For some people, sometimes just the word alone triggers them because of these experiences, sales.
But then, as we talked about before, if we reframe it to, sales is an exchange of a product or a service or money, right? So that the story in your head is just a belief. It's just a thought that you have, so many times, and it feels true. But before you can change those thoughts and those beliefs, we have to know what they are, right? So if I like to peel back the onion and have you guys do that exercise, what do you think of when you think of sales? So a great exercise for people to do is, and I was kind of like doing this, is, write down the word sales, right? At the top of the piece of paper, and then write all the words that come up for you, right? Like anything that comes up, good or bad, negative, greedy, gross, yucky, used car salesman, whatever that is for you guys, you want to write all that down. And one of the questions that I also like to ask my clients when we do this is, what are your thoughts about sales? And we never want anybody, I never had anybody says, oh yeah, sales, yeah, it's good, it's great, right? We got things like, like used car salesman, pushy, aggressive, pitchy, all those terrible things, right?
Yeah.
So what I do want you to understand is, why do you feel that way, right? That the way that we do about sales, because for many of us, we were sold to in a way that didn't feel good to us, right? Didn't loving, right? Many of us get those messages like, hey girl, I know we haven't seen each other in like 20 years, but I got this awesome product. I know you're gonna love it. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Right. I even got messages not too long ago. I got a DM. It was like, hey, we're in the same Facebook group. Didn't tell me which Facebook group we're in the same Facebook group. And what do you do? Well, if you would have looked at my profile, you would have known what I did, right?
Yes.
Did I respond back to that? No, I didn't respond back to that because you didn't show me that, that I come first.
Yeah.
Right?
They're being inauthentic.
Right?
Say that again.
I said I didn't respond back to that because you didn't show me that you actually looked into me, that you knew a little bit about me, right? Because we need to, if you're going to DM me, we need to start a rapport. Right? We need to start to get to know each other, in this caring way. And it's not all about sales. It is, let me get to know who you are.
Yeah.
Right. So I hate those, hey girl, messages that we get.
Yes.
So we've all been pitched to in a way that didn't feel good. Or maybe you went out and, oh my God, I love this one. You go to the furniture store because that's one of my experiences. You go to the furniture store and right away you have like all these salespeople, right? They're like breathing heavy on your back and they're not catching my vibe. We're like, whoa, stand back. I just want to walk around, They're not getting it. I'm sending them their energy, but they're not getting it. So I don't want you. They're not getting my body language, right? And so, I don't want you to guide me through the store. Like I want to just walk by myself, right? So we've all had those type of feelings before, right? And like we talked about telemarketer. I was a telemarketer when I first started working. It was my first job, right? And so I always remember my parents always complaining like, oh my God, we're eating dinner, phone rings and it's a telemarketer.
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, back then, right? But it's been ingrained, Serena, in us that, that there's, it's been ingrained in us all the time that selling is bad, right? And it feels uncomfortable. So the first thing that we have to do is to understand, where does that belief come from? Why do you feel the way that you do about sales? Were you sold to in a way that didn't feel good? Did somebody not take no for an answer? Were you pitched to in a really uncomfortable way? Because I think once we understand why we feel the way that we do about something and where our thoughts come from, then we can get to work on changing those thoughts by being more conscious about them. So the way that I like to do this is that if you feel like you're being spammy or gross, like you're doing it wrong, if you feel uncomfortable in what you're doing, then you're probably doing it wrong. Right?
Yeah, it shouldn't feel like that at all.
Exactly, because then you're doing it from a place
that's inauthentic.
Exactly, right? And that's not where you want to be, right? And the majority of us have done sales in a way that didn't feel good because we didn't know how to do it, right? But now you know better. Now you know better. If you don't want to be cold call, don't cold call. If you don't want to be pushy, don't be pushy. Don't do what you wouldn't want someone to do to you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So then, how do we change our thoughts about sales, right? But, what is the highlight reel when you think about sales? When you're thinking about sales and you got that reel going on, it's like, what do you feel that way? And what is that highlight reel that I really want you guys to understand that? And then what do you want to start choosing new and different thoughts about selling? And some of you are not going to wake up tomorrow and be like, whoa, I love, sales is amazing. I love sales. Yes. No, right?
Somebody actually posted that.
Ever, right? Because you're not going to believe it, right? You're not going to believe that thought. So you're not going to believe that thought early on, and that's okay. But there are things that you can think about, and we call them bridge, right? So the fact that, that gets us from sales is gross to sales is amazing. That's the bridge gap, right? And I'll repeat that again. So that gap is, from that gets us from sales is gross to sales is amazing. That is that bridge gap. So there's a bridge thought in your brain that you could probably be okay with. Maybe it's, I'm learning to sell in a way that feels good to me. I'm learning to connect with new people. Selling is serving, selling is helping. whatever that is. Whenever you have that feeling like sales, you need to think of this bridge thought, right? I'm learning to sell in a way that feels good to me, right? Selling is serving, selling is helping, right? But what is a thought that you can grab onto that makes sense to you? So every time you sit down in front of your computer and you get those feelings of, I don't want to sell, I don't want to piss somebody off, I don't want to be annoying, you'll be like, no, brain, no, brain. We don't think like that anymore because we now know that selling is serving. So my thought is, I'm learning to sell in a way that feels good to me, right?
Yeah.
That I'm doing, that selling is serving, selling is helping, right? And it's like practice. You got to practice it. Practice, right?
For me personally, I never even, maybe because I've been in sales my whole life. For me, it's really just about being myself, my most deepest, authentic version of me, and the speaking absolute truth from my heart and my soul, and like just being as authentic as I can about what it is I do, how is it I help, what is the problem that the person needs to overcome, and what's the solution, right? Usually, if we have that solution, then we want to show them that is the solution to their problem. And so at the end of the day, when I'm doing sales, it's really, I'm having a conversation. That's it. That's like, that's my wording.
And I love that, because what we got to do is we got to listen. People will tell us what they need. We just have to learn to listen.
Yeah.
Right. We have to learn to listen. So, and I love that. And thank you for that. And so, when we're retraining your brain, I always say, no, brain, no, brain, right? And so you're going to laugh at me, but my negative inner chatter, that little chatter that comes up and pops up, I name him, right? So his name is Drop Dead Fred. So whenever I hear, wait a second, Glory, what the hell you're doing? I'm like, Drop Dead Fred, I got this. I know what I'm doing, right? And I love it. It is a trigger, Serena. It is a trigger that as soon as I say Drop Dead Fred, it just goes away.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I have my clients do the same thing. I'm like, come on, let's name it, your inner critic. Let's name it, because as soon as you start thinking something negative, whatever name you name, that inner critic will pop up, and first of all, you're gonna laugh. But the more that you're like, hey, Drop Dead Fred, and I have clients that name them funny things, and it's funny. It's a trigger. It's a trigger, and it's fun, and it's great. And so we know that selling is helping. We know that we are doing, what we're doing in the world, right, is a disservice by not selling our product. And eventually, like that athlete who gets corrected over and over and over again, they're training and training to get corrected, to get that done, right? It's a technique that your brain will need to do, right? And then, your primary thought, you'll get to change that, and it's going to be like, wow, I'm getting good. This feels good, right? Like you said, it feels good to you because you're being authentic. You're coming from a place of love. You're coming from a place of, can I help this person, right? You're not jumping on the phone, right? And all of a sudden just selling everything without even listening to the person. You don't even know what their problem is.
Yeah, no, that's not it. You're on the wrong track if that's what you're doing, for sure. Exactly. So this is how we rewire our brains to feel good about sales. Yes?
Absolutely. Yes. Bridging that gap where, how can I go from feeling this doesn't feel good, or I have like, this feels spammy, to, this feels good. I feel good. I feel great. I remember my first sales call. Oh my God, I was so nervous and so scared. And I remember, from the telemarketing part of it, right? Like, oh my God. And this man actually bought it. And they were like little little credit card coupon things that they used to back then for different discounts. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he actually bought it, But then I also remember one of my very first, sales call for my coaching, right? And I didn't make the call, I didn't make the sale, but oh my God, at the end of that, I was so happy because actually, it took me longer than I thought it was going to take me, but I was able to get it all out of my system. once I got it out of my system, and I was like, okay, wait, this was good, because I did a lot of research on my potential client. So when we got on the phone, I was like A, B, and C, and I was telling her, like, she's like, no, and I'm not really like that. And I pulled up her website and I said, this is all you right here. And she's like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. I was like, yeah, I nailed that. So I didn't get the sales, but I was so happy because it felt so good. And it came from a loving place.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Amazing. Well, this is all so important, for all levels, if they're just starting.
And one more thing, I just want to say that we always want to put, I want you to put it through the lens of how would you feel if you received the message that you're about to send? How would you feel if you were the one on the opposite, phone, right? Of that call, right? If this message landed in your email, in your inbox, how would you feel? Would it feel like it was copy and pasted and like 7 other people, or would it feel personalized, right? And genuine, like you said? And what do you want people to feel when they interact with you? That's the golden rule, right? That's how we learn to sell in a way that feels good to you. Do unto others as you want done unto you, right? So never send a message that you wouldn't want to receive. Never leave a comment that you wouldn't want to see someone leave in your comment. That is how we sell in a way that feels good to you. How do you want to be sold to? How do you want to be interacted with? How do you want somebody to build a relationship with you, right? And go from there, right? And I know there's a lot of people, that are doing this the wrong way. So, I'm getting it, I'm trying to lump it all into one category of people who are selling and in a way that doesn't feel good, and you don't want to be one of those people. So when I try to, when I send a DM to someone, I'm really building a relationship. I'm building that rapport. I want to get to know that person. It's not I'm not DMing them and saying, what do you do? Because I've already researched you and I know what you do. So I'm going to start with, oh my gosh, I saw that, that school just started and your daughter had a hard time in school. How is that going? Like, we're really just getting to know each other and having some really good conversations. The sales call, that may come a couple of DMs down the line, but it's really just getting to know the person first, right? Building that relationship with someone, right? First.
That's exactly it. It's all about relationship building. That's exactly it. Like for me, sales is like, it's just about getting to know each other, getting to know the person. Is this a good fit? Because if it's not a good fit, you're going to feel that from the beginning. And then it's like, well, what's the point? You really want to make sure that
you have
it's an alignment.
Let's say that you run a group coaching program. You want to make sure that person is going to be a good fit for your group.
Yeah.
Right. If you're doing one-on-ones, you're going to want to make sure that person is open to receiving, right? That person is open to, is that person coachable? And you can find all that out while you're having these conversations, right? Before you even get into the sales call.
Yeah. Like that's so true. Like nobody gets into micro program without having a call with me first. Like it's a pre-screening, right? We need to make sure that we are in alignment, soul to soul, heart to heart. So I love that. Everything you shared is so true. And I know that many people have commented, they're sharing about their sales experiences and definitely finding lots of value in what you're sharing. So thank you so much for coming into our space and sharing your wisdom and your light. And is there anything you want to leave with them before we end and share with them where they can connect with you? I know you run a podcast, you have a Facebook group, I think it's Sisterhood of
Successful Entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Absolutely. You guys can reach me there. You can DM me. But I just want to leave you guys with a thought of, I want you to, what are your thoughts? What are you going to rephrase about sales? I want to see those comments. How are you going to rephrase your thoughts about sales? And what are 2 things that you're going to you think about sales, right? When those negative thoughts, right? When Drop Dead Fred jumps in there, right? That inner negative chatter that you have in your mind. What are those two thoughts, and how are you going to reframe them? I'd love to.
Love it. Amazing. Super excited. So thank you so much. This has been amazing. And then everyone will receive a post with all of your links so that they can connect with you and talk more if they have any more questions, if they want to learn from you. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Have an
Thank you
amazing.
so much. It was wonderful.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Have an amazing rest of
Bye.
your day. Bye.